Hi there. This is Meg Lamont. I'm the Director of Instruction here at OHS, and I just wanted to really briefly share some advice that we've gotten from students over the years who are really the people who know how to put together an OHS schedule. And so there's a few things that come up again and again when students talk to me about how they've managed their OHS schedule. The first one is to be realistic, right? Don't be hopeful. I think that in the best case scenario, I can get this assignment done in 1 hour. Instead, say, sometimes I hit a snag on this kind of assignment. I think I had better schedule, an hour and a half or 2 hours. You want to be conservative in your scheduling. You want to assume not a best case scenario, but a not quite best case scenario. You might think about the way that if you're gonna drive somewhere or travel somewhere and you need to be somewhere on time, you don't pick like if there's not a single traffic jam and you get all the lights are green right on the way, but you schedule in some time for something unexpected or not the best case scenario. So be realistic and kind of check in on your how realistic you've been. Take a look at the end of the day. Were you able to accomplish things you wanted to accomplish in the times you set? You can also use this to build in a reward system for yourself. So let's say you schedule yourself for an hour and a half to complete an assignment because you know it might take you that long, but this was a good day. You got done in an hour. That could mean that you free up a half hour in your schedule that you can do something else that you'd like to do it. And that's a good way to use kind of incentives for yourself to have that conservative scheduling, but then if you hit the mark ahead of time, that gives you a little reward of some free time. And that leads me to a second thing that students really report as super, super helpful, and that's scheduling in breaks. Don't forget to give time, 15 minutes, half an hour, where you're just gonna walk away from your computer. You're gonna take a walk outside. You're going to eat food, right? Not sitting at your computer, but away from your computer perhaps. Something where you're moving around, where you're getting a real kind of mental but also physical break from what you've been doing the rest of the day. So schedule in those breaks. Those are important, not just to your health, but your productivity. It actually makes you more productive to take those breaks. Another thing that a lot of students report is really helpful and you might want to try is to actually plan to schedule assignments for either classes that you're less excited about, find more challenging, or just, a particular assignments that you're sort of less enthusiastic about, sort of struggling with more earlier in the day. To do them when you're sort of fresh at your freshest and most sort of able to tackle something which isn't naturally sort of exciting to you or that you find a little bit more of a difficult subject. And then that way, in the second half of the day, when you might have a little bit less energy, you actually have sort of a higher level of sort of excitement and or ease in terms of the course material. So that can be really, really helpful. Students have let us know. And then one last thing that a lot of our students report is really, really helpful to do is remember to sort of switch things up between assignments. Don't necessarily say, well, Monday is going to be for physics, Tuesday is going to be for English, Wednesday is going to be for another class. Rather really switch back and forth. Maybe each hour of the day, maybe you're going to sort of turn to another subject. That gives you kind of a rest from one kind of thinking, one kind of assignment, going into another. Now, there might be times when you have a major test coming up, you want a longer block of time. Maybe you can make an hour and a half or 2 hours. But keep in mind that if you sort of put a whole 3-hour block, it's hard to maintain focus that long. You'd probably be sort of better served in terms of really keeping to your schedule and having a reasonable plan. Again, going back to that first point of being realistic. If you sort of put in an hour and 15 minutes, then maybe a break of 15 minutes or half an hour, and then another hour and 15 minutes to really sort of work on that bigger chunk of an assignment. So those 4 main things: be realistic, don't plan for that best case scenario, but for that more average likely kind of scenario. Be conservative in that planning, how long things will take. Schedule in breaks so that you take them, so they're part of your schedule, so you get to even check off your break as something you've accomplished in the day. Schedule some of the either courses or assignments that you find kind of less invigorating, perhaps, less naturally, come to you less naturally earlier in the day when you have more energy, and then later in the day when you might be a little bit more tired, you can still have that energy and excitement for the subjects, the assignments, the topics that you really get excited about. And then last, to really switch up between assignments. So you're not trying to spend all day on one particular subject, but really sort of spending maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour on one subject, and then turning to another. So, and ideally to sort of stack those between things that you find a little bit more challenging or less exciting and things that really give you energy. And then sort of maybe something that's a little less, exciting to you, things that give you energy. And those can include school things, for OHS, but also other things outside. Maybe you need to practice piano, you love practicing piano, you put that in the middle of two assignments that you find a little more draining, and then you save maybe your favorite subject for the end of the day because you'll be glad to do it then. So that's some advice we've gotten from OHS students that they found really, really, really helpful in terms of managing their schedule, having a plan that they can stick to. And last but not least, if you find yourself kind of falling behind, not sort of really able to keep to the schedule, reach out. Let one of your instructors know that you're having trouble staying on top of things. Your instructor will be happy to work with you. Reach out to your counselor and say, hey, can you help me sort of evaluate my planning system? We're all happy to do that. That's sort of why we're all here, and happy to help you with this anytime. And glad to have you here. You've got to find a system that works for you, and we know you can do it. See you soon.